We are a world of rubbish. Just look at it, all that rubbish. And it made me wonder, volcanoes, rubbish. Why don't we throw all our rubbish into volcanoes? Just think about it. Think of all the volcanoes in the world. I know particularly in Australia, we don't have any volcanoes, but we are located near the Pacific Ring of Fire, which has the largest concentration of volcanoes in the world. And so, I ask myself a simple question. Why don't we throw our trash into active volcanoes? Of course, soon I realised throwing trash into active volcanoes is a terrible idea, and the following are the main issues of dumping rubbish into volcanoes. Firstly, any transportation infrastructure we build is susceptible to being destroyed by volcanic lava. Nobody has to be an expert in volcanology to understand that volcanoes are unpredictable and can erupt at any time. Sometimes they erupt and shoot forth hot lava everywhere, while other times they softly pour forth lava. Thus, it is impossible to predict a volcano's activity with any degree of accuracy in the modern world. It would ultimately be a near suicidal vanity project because of the immense risk you would be exposing to all workers in the project. The second issue is the problem of density, and is perhaps the more basic issue since it cannot be explained away by a conceivable but non-existent automation of the physical handling of rubbish in a hazardous environment. Your mental picture most likely includes debris sneaking into lava and melting back into an elemental soup where it becomes one with the lava, maybe with smoke and a few bubbles bursting forth out of the lava as it happens. Of course, in reality, this is far from the truth. Lava is molten rock. Rock has a far higher density than water. Everything you throw on top would float, since it isn't heavy enough to sink into molten rock. Lava weighs roughly 3,100 kilograms per cubic meter, while your average solid rubbish has a density of around 312, or about 1/10 the density of lava. So you get an idea of how much weight the rubbish would have to overcome to descend into lava. I hold the scene from the Lord of the Rings conclusion responsible for spreading the false idea that objects just sink into molten lava. A fleshy golem wouldn't be dense enough to sink into the lava, and he couldn't have just sunk into the lava of Mount Doom. He would instead struggle on the surface as he slowly burnt to death from the lava latching to him, and radiant heat charring him like a broiler. On a different note, lava is also highly viscous, with viscosities ranging from that of warm asphalt to that of syrup. The rubbish wouldn't all sink into the lava, and plastics most definitely wouldn't. As the surface is likely partially cooled and crusting over, you would effectively be softly singeing all the rubbish you hurl into the lava, and who knows what will happen when an eruption occurs with all that rubbish heaped on top. Alongside this, the debris on the bottom would pyrolyze into smoke rather than dissolve into the lava, as a result of all the rubbish floating on top of the hot lava, leaving you with the unsightly sight of a burning trash heap resting on top of your lava, and not to mention the risks to air quality. Furthermore, it is an absolutely naive idea to believe that adding more rubbish on top will make the bottom layer sink. Solid rubbish, as we already know, has a relatively low density, thus adding more rubbish on top will make the rubbish at the bottom sink. You won't get rid of anything as more rubbish builds up. Instead, it only accumulates to become a steaming mess of a trash heap. Thus, the entire process turns into a huge extra toxic eyesore that is extremely dangerous for everyone involved. Additionally, if the volcano were to erupt, the mountain of rubbish you had piled on top of the lava would be shot into the air, causing hot lava, ash, and melting rubbish to fall everywhere. And the debris that rains down is made much more hazardous, as the heated rubbish draws air to feed the flammable bits that would ignite if there were enough oxygen present. To add even more terror, burning molten plastic acts in a similar way to napalm. So, in conclusion, throwing trash into active volcanoes is a terrible idea. It is risky, ineffective, and an ill-advised notion that can cause the deaths and suffering of thousands of people if the volcano were to erupt. This has been me, Jack, and if you're near a volcano right now, please be safe.